Hello, everyone. Today I'd like to talk about Michael Jackson, particularly his film videos. And the reason why is this. So, in my neighborhood, there is an estate sale. I don't know what's the difference between an estate or a garage sale. I know that there's people trying to get rid of their stuff entirely when they're moving out. Usually they would call it an estate sale, but this was really more of a garage sale. And just kind of looking at what they had. I wasn't really interested in movies or anything like that. There was no music, nothing there. But I did catch this, and they were selling this as a set. So you got this number one videos, Moonwalker, these two, History Part 1 and 2, and then a couple of concerts. Now, all I really wanted was this, or really these two, okay? Because I knew these were the ones with the extended, the short films of Michael Jackson on and both. And especially the second one. Seems hard to get. I never knew this came out. I always knew this one, but not the second one. I remember seeing this. So I just wanted these two. But I had to buy the set because the guy selling wanted to get rid of it as a set. And mainly because, if you notice, I have two of these. They're exactly the same, just a different color. I already have one. I had this one, but what the hell? Just another duplicate. And I kind of took this home and rewatched even this one. Just rewatched it, and what came out of it was pretty surprising. Now, there's a few things I want to mention before I get into talking about Michael Jackson films. For me, Michael Jackson, as a kid growing up, I got into his music really from his Dangerous album, and really his Dangerous album to me is really underrated. Highly underrated, or maybe overlooked. And overlooked is more because I knew when it came out it was really popular, so I can't really say it's underrated. I think it's just more overlooked compared to his other albums that came out previously, like Off the Wall, the trilogy, right? Off the Wall, Thriller, and Bad. Basically, all his solo stuff from his Epic records and on. So, but that's how I got into Michael Jackson. Now, Bad, I knew his music as well from the Bad album, but I was too young to really, I guess, get into it or appreciate it from there. And then Thriller was, way before I even, knew it. But I knew some of his hit songs, mainly from the music videos. And this is basically what any casual fan would need for his music videos. They're not the short films. They're just basically the stuff you would see on MTV. Now, the problem with this is a couple things. First of all, it doesn't have a lot of the good stuff. There's some songs on here that I'm mad at, but it's got the essentials, right? From Billie Jean, Thriller, Bad, whatnot. But one of my favorites songs / video, I wouldn't call it top video, but of his. But my favorite combination of song video would be Smooth Criminal. And for some reason on here, it's like some effed up, sped up version of it. Like the song is probably the condensed short or the album version of it. But the music video is it's like some really sped up version of the short film. And that really pissed me off. It's just one of those where how much I love the song, I can't stand watching the video on this one at least. So anyway, I had to get the duplicate, so I got two of the same stuff. Now, going on, I watched these two, the ones I really wanted to get. So his greatest videos, the History number 1, History number 2. And I've watched it front to back. All I could say is this. With Michael Jackson, I'm not a fan of his short films at all. I think they're way overrated, if anything. Now, overrated is another thing too. I mean, they don't really show the short films on MTV. They really just show the condensed or edited versions of it. The short films are more of a specialty, a novelty type thing, at least in my opinion. And to me, I think majority of his short films are just trash. It's just like, you want to make me feel. Watching like the first couple minutes, I couldn't wait to fast forward until the actual song played. Things like that. Black or white. I'm not a fan of that either. It's just a lot of stuff. Even Remember the Time. Things like that. The short films just really threw me off. Now, the Smooth Criminal one on here, or was it on here? It was very interesting. I remember seeing it once or twice, but not like this. And I thought it was actually pretty well done for Smooth Criminal. That's the only other thing outside of Thriller. Now, Thriller, I love Michael Jackson videos from like the Thriller era. So you wouldn't even call it short films. They're kind of like music videos, really music videos that are with some extension to it, and Thriller being the only one that's more like a short film. And that short film, Thriller, worked, hands down. From Billie Jean, Billie Jean's a straight up just a music video of the song. Nothing changed from that, from if I recall, nothing at all. Beat It, there might be some things in between, that but doesn't detract from the video. And then Thriller, believe it or not, the Thriller music video short film is what made Thriller. Now, Thriller, the song, I'm not a big fan of. Like, I would listen to it, but it's not, to me, it's just meh for a Michael Jackson song. But the video itself really made the song. I mean, if I wanted to listen to the song Thriller, I would rather watch the video and its like entirety from start to finish, as opposed to listening to the song itself, right, from the Thriller album. So I think because of the success of Thriller, I think Michael Jackson just went like, hey, every new song he's got to do has got to have a short film based off of that song from Bad on. And even Bad, the short film itself, I hated it. To be honest, I was like, oh, I got to fast forward, things like that, just to get to the video, or to the actual music. So that's why, for me, I think if I had to watch Michael Jackson videos, it would be this type, not the short film. So not this, more of the MTV edit versions. Having said that, after going through this and being a bit disappointed, I started watching there's 2 concerts that came in, okay? This one was actually pretty good. I mean, I think this is during his, Dangerous tour. So really when his Dangerous album came out, and then he had a tour, and this was fantastic. If you're a Michael Jackson fan, and if you've never seen him in concert like I have, I've never seen him live, anything, this is a worthy concert to at least watch. I mean, it's pretty much got all of his hits from Off the Wall on, even some, a couple of the Jackson 5 stuff, and then it's worthwhile watching, hands down. I highly recommend, if you wanted to see Michael Jackson in concert, this is the one to watch for sure. Now, funny, this is also a Michael Jackson concert. It's in Japan, and I think this is from his. Yeah, it's probably from his Bad tour. But this, for some reason, is like a bootleg or something. It's the video, the camera angles and so forth look like they were actually like paid to. It's not like someone who went there and took like a camcorder and there's actually different angles and stuff. So I think it's an actual concert that was taped, but bootleg, like it wasn't supposed to be distributed or anything, or made into a DVD or a VHS, a movie or a concert at all. It wasn't supposed to be recorded, I guess, sort of say, is more of like a private recording, but somehow someone got hand on some of the footage and like created a video like this that seems the quality is just bad. It seemed like this kind of got ripped from VHS directly. And having said all that, how bad the quality of the film is, and the soundtrack too is just bad. There no way my stereo system can improve upon what was on here. It wasn't that bad. I mean, it was pretty entertaining. Just, it's basically, to me, this is peak Michael Jackson. So just watching that at that time in Japan, it's pretty interesting to watch. Now, having said all of this, if I was a hardcore fan, I would have probably watched all of this or have at least majority of this, if not in a collection. For a casual fan, most likely just watch it. Probably wouldn't keep any or have this in a collection. Now, for a non-Michael Jackson fan or someone who doesn't know Michael Jackson, let's say we're fast forward another 50, 100 years and Michael Jackson, I don't think Michael Jackson will ever go away, but in terms of popularity, you're going to probably have people that, probably heard the name but don't know who he is or the music it is. I'm talking about that crowd. So, really the entire crowd. So that crowd as well as the casual fan and the hardcore. For me, I'm kind of in between, like not really hardcore, but more than a casual fan as well, because I do like his music. And I'm usually torn between, depending on the mood, if I'm a Jackson 5 fan or a Michael Jackson solo career, his epic records on fan. So I'm in between, so maybe like a semi hardcore fan. I don't know what you would call that, but anyway, if I had to recommend someone watching Michael Jackson to anyone, whether hardcore, casual, or someone who's never even heard of Michael Jackson, believe it or not, it would probably be this, Moonwalker. Now, when I first got this set, this whole like 5 DVD set or something, when I bought it from this estate sale, I never knew what this was. Now, as a kid, I remember recalling seeing this as a video game. I was thinking this is some type of like bootleg video game or something like that, or video of a video game, but in the back it didn't really show that. I remember this well because I remember looking at this, seeing this as a video game, but it was like Sega only, like on the Sega Genesis. And I wanted to see if I could play it on a Nintendo, but because it wasn't on, it was just on Sega. I was gonna I couldn't ask my parents like, hey, can you buy me a Sega system or something so I could play like Moonwalker. So I never had a chance to play it, right? But that's where I thought Moonwalker was. I never knew this was an actual movie, or vice versa. Like, I don't know if the movie produced the video game or vice versa. I don't know. Most likely the movie came out first and then the video game. But I think most people you would ask Michael Jackson Moonwalker, I think would lean towards, hey, are you talking about the video game? Not the movie. The movie was so, for me, obscure. I never even knew this was created. But now, talking about Moonwalker, this has to be the most strangest but entertaining in a weird way type of movie. Now, it's hard to explain what this is because, first of all, there's no real plot. No matter how, I watched this front to back, and just looking back at it, no matter how hard I try to find a plot to this, there isn't. I mean, it's not even worth trying to deep think and trying to imagine some like really deep plot to this. It just isn't. It wasn't a thing for that, for sure. Secondly, it's I think you would call this, if a casual fan of Michael Jackson would call this, if they watch this front to back, like a montage, a collection of like his short films. Certainly you could say that, although there are parts to it that don't feel like that. And mainly the beginning. It's like it starts off like with a concert, I think Man in the Mirror, and then goes into like what for me was really cool. Like one of my favorite parts of the movie was like his retrospective. It showed him as a little kid, and they're doing snippets of his songs from the Jackson 5 on to, I think, through Bad. It was really cool. I've never seen anything like that. And then it started to go into like short film / music videos. You know, but it's like unique that you don't see them in here. Like, you know, like the other stuff I've shown, they're not in here outside of Smooth Criminal. And I'll talk about Smooth Criminal later. But this is kind of very unique. I mean, there's parts of it where Speed Demon, that's like a it could be a first ever live action claymation film, like mix of, you know, Michael Jackson the live characters with claymation. I don't know if there's like Wallace and Gromit, but there's actual live characters in there, you know, kind of basically like Roger Rabbit. I don't know if they got influenced by Roger Rabbit. I'm not even sure if this came out after or before, but I would assume after. But instead of like cartoons, it's claymation. And now Speed Demon is a song from Bad that I don't like. It's one of those tracks that I actually kind of skip. But for some reason, it never, you know, for Speed Demon, watching that part on here is the strangest thing. It's like not just the claymation and the story around that for the Speed Demon video, but the claymation is just weird, like scary weird. It's like, you would think if it's for kids, but I think if like young kids watch this part of the movie, the Speed Demon part with the claymation, to me, I think they might get scared. You know, it's just kind of strange, very strange. But it's so, it pulls you in, at least for the first time, that I didn't even want to fast forward or anything just because I didn't like the song. I just wanted to watch to see what was going on. And there's also like Bad, the song Bad on here, but it's not your normal the Bad video that we all know. It's not that. It's little kids mimicking Michael Jackson in a Bad video. It's the strangest thing, and everything's kind of put together like that. So, like with Bad, I like just the normal MTV music video. I don't like the short film at all. And you got the parody right from Weird Al, Fat, which is fantastic. And in this, I've never knew this existed. A little kids version doing Bad, and it's pretty interesting to say the least. So, going on and on. Just watching, there's no plot yet. The movie does connect, mainly because you'll see Michael Jackson kind of from one video to another, and it connects in that respect when he transitions over to another scene and whatnot. But the plot itself, there's no plot, so it doesn't really connect in that way. But the movie does flow in that sense, if you understand what I'm saying. Now, the biggest thing about this is Smooth Criminal. After watching it, it's like a half hour at least, or it feels like it. And it's its own little movie in its own right. And after watching this, I understood where the Smooth Criminal came out the short film came out. And really, the short film just basically pulled it off from here. Now, with the short film that we see on MTV or things like this, it's still kind of disjointed in the sense, like, where did the little kids come from? There was like 3 kids in there. And it just didn't make sense. Like, why were they there? This explains everything because they pulled it out and edited a bit from a movie. And if you watch this, it makes sense from a where everything comes into play. Now, whether you like the Smooth Criminal film itself is another story, but it all makes sense from here. And that sped up version I was talking about that's on here, the one that really ticked me off, is actually also on here. It's used as the end credits, so it's pretty interesting where all that came from. And to put it all off, it kind of ends in a unique way with "Come Together." I've never heard of that song or that video by Michael Jackson. Now I know it was in his History double CD, but I've never seen it before or even recall. But it was actually quite nicely done. And he kept it more of a rock version on here. So put it this way. What I'm trying to get at is this. I think this movie, and kind of going back to his Thriller video, I think once that how popular Thriller was, he really wanted to like do everything as a short film at least, and then from a short film, edit it for MTV purposes and things like that. But I think he really took it overboard for a lot of ways. And Smooth Criminal, to me, I think when he was really doing the short film, and it was probably clocking a lot, like 30 plus minutes. I don't have the exact time, but it felt at least 30 minutes long. And I think what happened, in my opinion, okay, it's like, hey, we can pretty much extend this out or try to add some other videos and make it to a movie, like a feature-length film, right? For a feature-length film, you need to have at least an hour and change in there, hour and 15 minutes, hour and a half, or something like that. So they just needed to kind of add some more things, material in there to make it work as a feature film. And I think that's where like they started taking ideas from Roger Rabbit for Speed Demon with the claymation, and other things as well. There's another music video on here too that kind of segs into Smooth Criminal. I forgot what it was. It was Leave Me Alone or something. Something like that. But I think even then, it wasn't long enough. So they decided to stick a concert in the beginning as an intro and have a retrospective, which I think is still the best part of this movie. It's 10 minutes or so. Beautiful, beautifully done. And then they just basically kind of stitched it together, yet still try to have it flow. Like I said, like Michael Jackson kind of segs into most of the different sections of the movie. So it's like, you can think of it as almost like a mini combination of mini films put together, yet it's not just that. You could say it's also a kind of a pseudo documentary where he's showing his early years, his retrospective and some of his concerts put together. Yet it's not just that, and it's not just there is some flow to it to make it like feel like a movie, for sure. But it's not deep or anything to talk about outside of, hey, did you see it? It's pretty good. That's all. There's no like. You wouldn't spend 5 minutes trying to find a meaning to this. That's all. That's what I'm getting at. But my original question is for like a casual or non-fan of Michael Jackson. Non-fan being a person who doesn't know Michael Jackson. What would they watch? And to me, this would be probably the most appropriate to watch because it is, technically speaking, a feature-length film. Okay, even though again there is no plot, but it's unique the way it's put together and strange but effective use of music and different parts of the storytelling for each video. And the most important thing to me, it keeps the user the audience engaged, like myself. Again, I am a casual fan, or a little more than a casual fan, but I do get bored out of my mind for movies that either don't make sense or just, I would just like stop and not watch it. But this one without a plot or anything, kept me engaged. And it's entertaining, and that's what a movie should do, right? It's supposed to entertain you for different reasons, and this one does. Now, would I watch this again and again? No. For me, this is not one of those where I would rewatch. Even how I like the retrospective and the Smooth Criminal song is just not something I would rewatch front to back. But it's definitely something I would recommend to anyone who likes to watch film in general. And if you just even take out the Michael Jackson name and just say, hey, go ahead and watch this Moonwalker, I would definitely recommend this to someone to watch it for one time. Now, they might, after watching, they might come and punch me in the face or something like that because I would recommend something like this. I don't know, but to me, it's very unique. It's something you've got to watch at least once. One of those, whether you like it or not, there's nothing out there like it. Even it says it on here. The motto right here is a movie like no other. And I have to agree. I don't think anyone has made a movie close to something like this. So, again, it's entertaining in a weird way. You gotta give this a shot. And this is the one movie that Michael Jackson, whether it's a short film, music video, concert, or something, this is something I would recommend. Now, I know he's done like The Wiz. That's another movie he's actually, I would say, starred in. But to me, that's more of a Diana Ross, Motown vehicle rather than Michael Jackson. This one is strictly Michael Jackson alone, even though he hasn't really acted much in here. But it is what it is. And if you had to watch a Michael Jackson short film, video, music video, movie, or anything like documentary, this is the one I would recommend first and foremost. Anyway, let me know what you think. If you've seen this, let me know what you think, because it's like I had to talk about it. That's why. So thank you. That's all I have to say. Bye.